Welcome to Braindrop by VCOM Solutions. Each episode, we talk to IT leaders and experts, explore recent projects, and learn from their triumphs and challenges. We hope today's episode provides you with a unique window into the world of IT, where creativity meets problem solving and technology drives businesses forward. I'm your host, Jethro Castillo. Now let's drop into today's conversation. Today on Braindrop by VCOM Solutions, I am joined by Jermaine Oldham, the CIO of Outdoor Cap Company, a company that services the needs of the headwear industry for over 40,000 customers since 1977. Jermaine is a true professional, combining experience, ambition, and passion to successfully drive technology strategy and digital transformation for the organization. Jermaine, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here today.
So, how did you get started in IT?
Well, it was very interesting. I started my technology career back when I joined the Air Force in 97, and I was stationed at Kelly Air Force Base. That's in San Antonio, Texas. And I started off very small. I supported about 35 individuals as a part of a support squadron. And essentially my job was to be the work group administrator. And in that role, I took care of personal computers for the individuals that were in my command. It was a very challenging yet good, safe way to kind of break into the tech industry back then.
Was it out of the blue, or was it like you chose this role, it was expected, or was it something like put into your lap and you're like, oh, got to do it now?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because my job in the military was to be a computer information system specialist. And I really, in fact, didn't understand what I was getting into in the beginning until I graduated basic military training. Then I went to tech school, and I'm like, oh my God, this is something that's going to be fruitful for the rest of my life. And I became really serious about it then. And that's what kind of sparked my interest in technology, and really has served as a foundation for everything I've accomplished in my tech career.
And so you've been in tech for a really long time. What is your favorite part about working in this industry?
I would say just the opportunities. As a tech professional, you could go work in a multitude of different industries. You can go work for a multitude of different companies. There was always opportunity in technology. And I think organizations now are putting tech to the forefront, meaning that they know that they need tech, they know they need to invest, and that's the opportunity there. And I think we were talking previously, and most organizations are tech companies, even though some don't realize that. And which means that there's opportunities for people like me in the tech industry, working for a multitude of different companies across the U.S. and around the world.
There's a lot of opportunity in tech, but the thing is tech moves fast, and it's moving faster than ever. And so how do you keep track and stay on top of all of the things that are happening in tech so you can take advantage of the opportunities when they come?
I would say that's a challenge for me and every tech leader or tech person in tech today. It's just, you've got to be aggressive towards learning. And the way that I do that is consistently, even though I'm the CIO of Outdoor Cap Company, I still go after certifications. I still use a multitude of different webinars, articles, learning management systems, and I'm constantly subscribed to newsletters and online media. And that's how I stay up to date. And one of the things that I promote within my organization, and I've always been a big proponent of, is just continuous learning. So I've got this continuous learning mindset where I am constantly learning new things every day. And then I'm sharing this with people within my organization and with the business. And then they come back with questions. And if I don't know the answer to that, then I've got to go do some more research. So it's just this cyclical cycle of continuous learning.
Yeah, it's in Japanese, it's the Kaizen method. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's something. It's something that I subscribe to too. Continuous improvement has always been important to me. Today I will be better than I was yesterday, and slowly but surely, learning becomes a part of your life. And it's not just you are learning for something; you are learning to learn. And I think those people go really far because they have that mindset. So I appreciate you bringing that up for sure.
Absolutely.
You've been taking in a lot of information. What are your thoughts on it? It's one thing to input it, it's another thing to then have your opinions on it. So what are your thoughts on the current state of tech and IT?
Yeah, I would say for tech and IT, it's ever changing, and it's, something new technology comes out every day. and something in the tech industry comes out. So it's, as tech leaders, we've got to stay in tune with what's trending, what's happening. There's a lot of different technologies that are hot and trending. And, one of the things, and I think we're going to talk about this later, is the AI, generative AI. And, you know, business leaders look to people like myself to figure out what we want to do about it, which means you got to know about it, which means that you've got to understand it, which means that you've got to go know where to tap to get some additional expertise. So, I would say the organizations that leverage technology today and know how to get some effort out of it and know how to capitalize on it are the ones that are propelling against their competitors. And the tech leaders that know how to go seize the moment, capture opportunity, invest in tech, get business alignment, and then help that drive business growth are the ones that are being most successful.
And I think that's the really fascinating thing about tech is you are learning about something that is still being learned, like that is still in the process of being developed, right? AI is not a set in stone thing. What you learn today might be different from what is applicable tomorrow. And so it's not enough to be like, oh, I know this thing, I'm done. You always have to be in the know because the know will change just like that. You have to have that mindset, right, to really
That's
succeed
right.
in tech. You brought up AI a little bit, and that's definitely one of the sort of hot topics. I think you touched upon it, but how should businesses, or at least maybe even yours, how does your business kind of lean into this and leverage it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the things that we're going to do, because we played around with AI in a different multitude of different facets, and that's one of the technologies. And there's other ones, cloud technology, cybersecurity, IoT, that are kind of trending from a tech perspective. But in reference to AI and generative AI, we are actually going to make it become real for organizations. So I've got employed a facet of tech called business transformation. And essentially, they are the people that are the liaison between technology and the business. And they look to improve business processes, and they look to kind of serve as the force of the business for tech. And the way we're going to treat it is just like any other initiative. So I've got a leader that is coming up to speed, and she essentially is going to work with the business to go identify where we've got areas of opportunity, where we can, and we want to solve business problems. And then we're going to take that and have a collective conversation around where can AI potentially fit, and where can it help improve, given what we've learned from an AI perspective. And then we're going to take that and we're going to pipe that into our innovative cycle. And our innovative cycle here at Outdoor Cap and other businesses is the way that we prioritize our work. It's a combination between business transformation, our product managers, and our developers, and the infrastructure supporting all of those key areas. And we're going to get into our backlogs. We use agile methodologies, and we're going to get it prioritized. And we're going to go after it. And it's going to be a priority. And it's going to be a priority that we rank with the business leaders. And everyone's going to agree upon that we're going to go do this R&D work, and we're going to invest this much from a people, process, and technology perspective to go make it happen. And that's how we're going to make it real, versus it being a black closet IT initiative where we're playing around with it and there's really no results. There's a lot of R&D, but there's really no ROI. We're going to actually go prioritize AI in 2024 for our business.
That's awesome. It does raise a question for me, though, which is, with technology moving so fast, how do you know the right thing to R&D in and to make sure you're making the right business decision, because it could change or it could just be a fad? Like, how do you know for sure? And I guess you don't.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever know for sure. I mean, I like to use credible sources where Gartner and other sources where I can collect information, I can see trends, I can see ROI. And just like with any other project or initiative, you've got to take a chance and a risk. And then you've got to go make the investment. And then in my business, you've got to quickly go show continuous improvement and continuous where the investment is making progress.
Yes, right.
And then hopefully that thing or that idea catches on. That's what we think. We think if we go to the business and say, we want to solve your problems with AI, where are you having the most challenges? Where can we automate? Where can we streamline? And we have the business help us go do that.
Right.
It will, at that point, we're all bought into the concept of we got to go invest this. And if we're all wrong, we're all wrong.
Yeah.
But essentially it's not a tech project at that point, it's a business project.
It's really good that you said that. And it's the idea of, well, if everyone's bought in, it's no longer, there's no blame game anymore. You're all in it together. You succeed together and you fail together. And I like how it's like, it's not just a tech project, it's a business project. And I think in reality, that's how it should be thought about, right? A lot of, if not all tech projects are business projects. They should serve the business and how it should grow, right?
Absolutely.
We definitely got a little bit ahead of ourselves. That's on me, but we're like
That's
we're
okay.
like talking about your company, and people are like, "Well, what is even the company?" So tell us a little bit about your IT team and environment. How long you've been there, how many team members you have, and how many employees ultimately rely on your team.
Yeah, so we've got about we're a combination of companies, Outdoor Cap, Legendary Headwear, and Junk
Mm.
Brands, and we've got about 400 plus employees across the three companies and entities. And in the tech team, we've got about 30 plus individuals. And then we leverage outside contractors as well that we outsource work to. So when I think about between the FTE employees and outside contractors, we got 35 plus employees, people that do tech work for Outdoor Cap, Junk Brands. And I've been with the organization for almost a year and a half. I joined in July of 23. And what the company was looking for is for someone that had a multitude of different experience across different facets of tech, that could drive digital transformation, that could also figure out what the cloud strategy needed to be, that was a business leader, that had financial acumen, that had done app development, that had expertise in cybersecurity, that had expertise in infrastructure operations, data center operations, that had managed products, that knew a lot about UX UI. So they were looking for this comprehensive leader. And fortunately, this opportunity came across my desk, and I'm like, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to go be the number one tech leader within the company. And a long story short, I went on an interview process and they selected me, and it's been a really good place for me to learn and grow myself and make an impact to our company and organization.
That's awesome. I've also been at my current company for the last year and a half too, so we're kind of buddies in that. I'm not a head tech leader, but one commonality at least. You said what, 35 team members if you're combining the FTs and the outsourced?
Right.
But how many employees total in your entire organization does your team kind of support?
About 450 employees that we support in different facets of, we've got production workers, we've got office employees, we've got people at distribution centers. So we support everybody, and everyone leverages and touches tech, which we're fortunate enough to get different personas and what their jobs are. And our number one job is to make their lives easier with technology and make technology an enabler.
Yeah.
Like we want it to be frictionless. We want them to use their tech and it to work for them versus work against them. That's the kicker.
Well, so let's talk about then a project that has aided your organization. What was the reason for taking on this project, and what were the goals for it?
Yeah, there's a lot of projects that we've accomplished. I said I joined in 2023. It was 2022.
I love how you remembered what you said.
Yes, it was in 2022. It was July 2022. So there's a lot of accomplishments that we've done in 2023. But the one that really comes to mind is the work that we've done around business continuity disaster recovery. So the problem statement we had was we've got a data center here in Bentonville, and most of our primary services run out of that, unless it's a SaaS or a hosted platform. We use Salesforce as an example that's not hosted in our data centers, but a lot of our services are hosted here. And the problem statement was, if something happens to this data center, what do we do? And before, we didn't have a solution. So what we did is I took my the tech team, through a business continuity disaster recovery plan. And what we essentially identified is, we said, what business processes run the company? What's the associated tech that's aligned to that? And what capabilities do we have from a recovery point and recovery time objective for those technologies? And then we went through a business impact analysis exercise that kind of walked us through this and said, okay, this is the tech assigned to business processes. This is the recovery priority that we think about it. And then we went to the business and said, okay, what do you think about recovery priority? And what's the maximum tolerable downtime that we could have if this service and business process was unavailable? And then we got alignment and said, okay, according to our recovery time objective, recovery point objective, we can meet and or exceed that. And this is how. And we got very, very specific with that. And then after we did that, we said, okay, we want to take this process and we want to start doing quarterly disaster recovery tests. And there's different types of tests that you could do that consist of structured walkthrough, which is essentially just you talk about it, but you don't actually interrupt services. There is a full interruption test, which we've done in 2023, where you take a service and one entity and you completely fail it over to another entity. And that entity for us is our co-location disaster recovery site in Phoenix, Arizona. And then there is a parallel test where you take a production service and you bring it up. In our case would be Phoenix, Arizona, but you don't interrupt production services. So this year we've done 4 full interruption tests for business services, and the business has not noticed anything.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal for us. And during that part, we were talking previously before the cameras went on about show and tell. We've shown the business our failover capabilities and the investment that they made. So that's been very fruitful for the company this year.
When you were planning and implementing this project and actually getting it set up, what were some things that went really well?
Some things that really well was just the team understanding what the business was expecting from a business recoverability perspective, and what from a downtime perspective, like us getting in the room with them, they said the maximum total downtime for this business process is this. Then we went back and evaluated our recovery capabilities to say, can we meet that?
Right.
If it's not, do we need to invest more tech to be able to bring that into baseline? So those were really good conversations with us. And the other thing is, my team in particular, that's inclusive of myself, we understand a lot about business continuity disaster recovery now. It was a concept before,
right,
but we have it up, it's functional. And through our commitment to do a quarterly DR test, we're learning what's working well and what's not, and we've been able to fix things. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that for each of our applications, we have playbooks, like step 1 through 100, as an example of, if we want to fail this application over to Phoenix, Arizona, or we want to recover from backups, this is the steps that you go through, and it's non-trivial. So we've got these playbooks that we're developing across all of our applications and platforms that we'll refer to if we need it in the future.
Are there some things that didn't go as well as you hoped, or posed a challenge?
Yeah, I would say it was, during the conversation, it was just getting the team aligned to the concept of, okay, what's a business impact analysis? What does recovery point objective mean? What does recovery time objective mean? And what does it mean to really fail over business services? And then the other thing we learned was, it took pretty much my entire, a very large subset of my team to articulate and to document this. Like, some people knew bits and pieces and other people knew bits and pieces, but no single person knew it all. So it was, in the beginning, we did a lot of curling, because it was like, no, that does that. No, that does that. And we weren't on the same page because we didn't have a common understanding of what this company's disaster recovery really meant. We didn't even know how to engage the business. But over time, we started to learn quickly. And that allowed us to have very constructive conversations amongst ourselves so that we could get ourselves aligned to go to the business and educate them. But the business didn't know either.
Right.
They were like, this runs this and that runs that, and I think that's it. And we're like, look, these other things make up this business process, and these are other things you need to consider.
Yeah.
So it's a great learning experience.
What was the reason for prioritizing this project? Why did you go, okay, yeah, we need to do this now rather than later? What are the super benefits to having this sort of plan?
The super benefits were essentially just giving our business confidence that in event of a natural disaster, cyber attack, hardware failure, software failure that we could recover. Before, they had zero confidence in our ability to be able to do that. And the reason why it was prioritized, because I had a conversation with my peers at the executive level and said, hey, we need to go prioritize this. And they said, yes, we do. And during that conversation, I started to talk about the technologies that run our company. And it's the tech that really runs our company. And I'm like, if we don't have a fallback or a failover plan for that, then we're in trouble. Because we've had a similar incident happen in 2019 where a lot of our tech went down, and they had that PTSD and said, yeah, we need a plan and we need a process. And oh, by the way, we need you to practice it too. I think a lot of tech leaders do this, but I think what some tech leaders don't, what they fail to do is really practice it. Of like, I'm going to go pick this system or platform, and I'm going to go do some type of test to that, and I'm going to go share the results with the business. Having a plan is great, but actually testing that plan is even better.
Right. Well, otherwise it's all theoretical and conceptual, right? You have no idea if the plan actually works.
That's right.
I mean, you've touched on it, but I'll ask it again anyways. What have the positive outcomes been with kind of now that this is in place for you and your team?
Yeah, I would say the positive outcomes is just we understand what success looks like when it comes to business continuity, disaster recovery. We've got documented all of our systems. Like we know our system, and we know the associated, databases and applications that tie to every business process. Like we've got an inventory list of that. That's phenomenal. We also understand per application, per database, per component, like what the recovery time objective is. What are our capabilities and how long it would take us to restore back to normal operations. We know that. And we have a point in time that's allowed from a recovery point objective. This has also allowed us to go examine all of our recovery capabilities of and we use a product called Being for Backup Services. So we've had to go visit that and said, okay, we said that we could recovery time that in 6 hours. Can we really go do that? And we've had to go practice that. So we have a better and more confident understanding of recovering business services in event of a disaster.
I love how you brought it up earlier, though, about the lack of documentation and the fact that no one knew anything. So you kind of had to figure out a way to piece everything together to make sure that it was fully right and fully correct. And I imagine that must have been kind of an event and a half to try to find the right people to find the right answers to certain things and then ultimately come up with this solution. But I feel like once you have it, now it's solid, right? You just have to iterate on it if there are any changes in the future, for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Other than that, what else has your team learned now that this is all in place?
I would say that we set out to accomplish a project, and there was a heavy capital investment and ongoing operations investment that we asked the business for. So the team and the business has confidence that we can go ask the company for money, and we can go plan out a large initiative like this. We can go land it, and we can have success.
Yeah.
So what this has done for my team in particular is it's instilled a lot of confidence in our ability to be strategic, to plan what we're going to do, and to go act upon it and land it. And then consistently come back to the business to show the value in that.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like one of the things when I was hired was I needed to really establish confidence very quickly with the tech team, which they hadn't had before. So I mapped out a 30, 60, 90-day plan and said, hey, my boss is president, CEO, and said, this is what I'm going to do within the first 90 days. And then I went and socialized it with my peers and the executive team and key influential business leaders and said, this is what I'm going to go do. And at that point, I started to build confidence because it's like, when I was going to do that in 30 days, I've done that. So it's building the trust with the business.
That's right.
At the top level. And it starts with me.
That's right. It's the combination of a lot of good communication, a clear vision, and then the follow through, right? It's the combination of all three of that will instill that trust and then that confidence, and then ultimately business success, right? And you're right that it does start with you. I think everyone should have that mindset, right? It starts with me, and what can I do in this role to achieve what we want to accomplish, for sure.
That's right.
This might be an extraneous question, but let's confirm it. Would you say the project achieved the goals that you were hoping to achieve?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100% achieved the goals we wanted to do. Did we have a few curveballs along the way? Yes, we did, but we were able to work through them.
Yeah,
And now we've got a documented plan. And you said it earlier. You've got a plan on paper, and now we can iterate on it. And we're done. We've made several edits since we initially released the plan, but now we've got a solid documentation and we've got expertise in this area across our business and the tech team that understands it,
right.
which is even more critical and important.
Exactly. You mentioned some curveballs earlier in the conversation, but what are some things that you know now that would have been nice to know before you started this project?
Oh, I would say just educating my team on what business continuity disaster recovery means. Like, because people had different
Mm,
definitions. And it took us probably 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 different meetings so that we could get on the same page in terms of definition. And what I should have done in hindsight is have a standard like onboarding packet of like,
I see.
this is business continuity disaster recovery. These are the terms. This is what we're going to go after, and this is how we're going to go do that at a conceptual theoretical level. And then their first meeting is around, okay, what did you learn? Let's align on what these terms mean for outdoor cap and our businesses, what they mean for us. But we didn't do that. And in hindsight, I should have done that. But we eventually got there. Once we got there, it was like, we're stuck in a ditch. 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 And it's like, we agreed to that. And then we started to make progress from there. But it was a great learning experience because you have to go through things like that in order to be better.
Yeah, it's all about being on that same page and figuring out what that even means. What page is the right page, and are you all on the same page, right? And being able to do that. Are there any tools and strategies that you used here that you would strongly recommend other IT professionals use for their projects?
Yeah, we use a tool called ClickUp that we
So do I.
manage. Do you?
Yeah, I actually introduced. Now
Really?
I get to talk about myself. I introduced it to my company, and so it's
Oh,
just the marketing and demand generation team that uses it right now. But they were like, "Oh,
yeah.
wait, this is everything." And it's like, yeah, like, the capabilities are
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I don't know how you do it
Yeah.
without a tool like that with a team that's so big, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yes. Yes. I'm so glad you're talking about you there because this is not only about me, it's about you
I
too.
appreciate it.
The tool we use is ClickUp, and it really allows us to organize our work. It's a project management product tool. The other thing that this has done for us is that we manage our kind of release cycles, like how we release from an agile perspective. We manage our change processes in it, like every single thing that we do from a tech perspective, from
Yeah,
project planning to release management, change management to project deliverables to visibility. All of our backlogs are in ClickUp, and we absolutely love the tool. We love the tool, and I'm not getting paid by ClickUp, by the way,
yeah,
but we love the tool, and we'll continue to use this tool because it fits us very well.
yeah. I cool. It's so cool to find someone else who also uses that specific software. It's fun. Um, any other strategies, tools, any other ones that you would recommend?
Yeah, I would say, for me, if I bring it up a level, it all starts with a comprehensive end-to-end strategy.
Mhm.
In the way that I've created our strategy is when I first came to the organization and I talked about the 30, 60, 90-day plan, a deliverable from that was to create a strategy, a tech strategy. And our tech strategy really consists of kind of 4 key pillars of our organization and what we're going to go after. That, and I can share that, is digital transformation, service delivery excellence, application infrastructure stability, and security posture. And this is all, those are our 4 key pillars in how we support our organization in creating and enabling technology to really enable our employees, customers, and partners. And we've tied key KPIs to those 4 key pillars. In that, those KPIs have become our technology scorecard.
Yeah.
And every month we speak to this scorecard, and it's non-trivial. It's like aggregately, how is tech doing? We go to a scorecard and we say, this is how tech's doing. And my boss, president CEO, and my peers are aligned to this scorecard and how tech is doing. And we We talk about it month over month of how we're graded from a technology perspective, from SLAs to security posture to uptime of infrastructure to release quality to business process enhancements and how much money we've saved. Those are some of the intricacies of the scorecard. And what it's allowed us to do is have very clear expectations for me
Yeah.
and the rest of my staff of what success looks like. And that is important. And the other thing I'll say is if things we are working on don't align to our strategy, we stop working on them. We literally stop working on them because if our strategy is executive aligned and aligned across the organization, and if something doesn't fit in our strategy, then we reevaluate. Do we really need to be working on
Yeah.
this? What's the business value and benefit from that?
Yeah, without creating a comprehensive strategy with KPIs, you don't really have a clear direction of where you're supposed to go. And so you're less efficient because then you're just doing things that you think might work, but not for a greater goal. So you kind of lose your way and you might stretch yourself too thin or you might be focusing on the wrong things. But by having that North Star almost, you're able to be like, okay, are the things that I'm doing now, that my team is doing now, relevant to that? Yes. Okay, then we keep on doing it. No, then we don't do it right now because that's not what we aligned upon. So it's having that alignment that is so important. And I guess kind of an underrated thing, right? In some organizations I've noticed it's like, oh yeah, we do all of these things that work, but not part of a greater plan. So it's just like, oh, so you're kind of just like almost flying by the seat of your pants, and it can be a very stressful situation almost sometimes for sure.
It could be very stressful. Yeah.
So what's next for you and team? What are the big goals and projects looking forward, or what are you currently working on?
One of the bigger things we're working on right now is a project called Project Compass. And really what we're aiming to do there is make our employee, not our employees, but our customers on the outdoor cap side, make us easier to do business with. So right now, there's a lot of manual order processing that goes into how our customers order caps from us. And we're building a platform that is going to be self-service driven, that integrates with our backend systems via APIs, that is going to allow our customers to engage in this platform, to have enhanced visibility, to be able to go do reorders that communicate to our backend ERP systems and other system platforms that we use. And I said this before, giving them visibility into what's the status of my order. Today, if a customer on the outdoor cap side wants to know the status of the order, they email into our Salesforce system, and then someone responds to that email. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of back and forth. They pick up the phone and call. Yeah. In the future, we're going to enable this platform, and it's going to be self-service driven. Nice. And we've got an MVP really defined. We've got 5 phases defined that we're going to go with intricate details to go define what success looks like for this. Yeah. But we will land this in 2024, and it will be a game changer for our customers and for us internally and our employees.
You say this phrase a lot, and I love it because I think I'm going to start using it. Defining success. It's like define success. In everything that you do, it's important to define success, right? Because you're basically saying, okay, this is how we will know that we can celebrate because we've succeeded. It also gives you, again, that North Star, that point, right? Like, this is what we have to accomplish. How do we go and do that? I just love using that phrase. We need to define success. Being able to define success means, oh, if we reach that, we're going to be able to celebrate and acknowledge what we've done. And that's a really good thing to be able to do. So I really like that you really hone that in everything that you do.
Yeah, that's very important. And I'm glad you picked up on that because it's very important to me. It's very important to my teams. It's very important for our businesses. And the other thing that is very key in that is that whatever success you achieve, whether it's small, medium, or large, or very big, you've got to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I've seen, and I've been guilty of this in my past, is I haven't celebrated the small wins and the big wins, or I've celebrated the big wins and not the small wins. And it's important to celebrate them all. And not only just internally, but to get other people excited. Yeah. Because defining success is we're going to set a target with a time frame and a budget and what that's going to achieve from an outcome perspective. And when we go land that thing, whatever that thing is, we're going to celebrate it. We're going to go tell people about it. And we're going to get excited about it. And we're going to go play hard about it. And it's very important because, and we haven't talked about this, but it really builds a culture of high performing
Yeah.
teams. And when I think about my teams here, we're high performing. And is every single individual a high performing individual in my organization? No. But as a unit, we're a high performing unit because we do those things and we define what success looks like. And if we're off the beaten path and we're off in a ditch somewhere, or we're not on the right path, then we know what baseline looks like. We go correct that. We bring it back
Yeah,
to baseline.
exactly.
So
And I think that's the other thing about defining success too, is that if you don't reach it, you're then able to really assess because you know what you're trying to shoot for. So if you fail, you have a really good baseline from which to work upon to learn from and go, okay, how could we have improved this for next time? Or how did we deviate from the path? And so by defining where you want to go, if you don't get there, you still have that vision. So you're able to figure out how to get there in the future.
yeah, absolutely.
I have two more questions for you. The first
Okay.
is, what are some roadblocks that you're experiencing within your team that you are noticing?
Yeah. I would say, so when I think about technology, and we haven't talked about this, is technology in my mind is more than just the technical component, the software, the hardware, the
Mhm.
platforms. It's more data. It's more than that. It's
Mm.
processes, like how you run, and it's people.
Yep.
It's so when I think about tech, our tech strategy is fueled with people, process, and technology things we've got to go do in order to be successful. And one of the roadblocks, it's I would say it's not necessarily a roadblock, it's an obstacle. Is sometimes when you go and you employ a team, you just don't know how they're going to fit within your organization. And, people is always a challenge because people come from different backgrounds, different, have different motives. And the thing that I do constantly is about 50% of my job is dealing with people things like performance issues or things to to help people move along or move them up in the organization or move them out in the organization. So I'd say this is constant underpinning of like people challenges. And this is we're not perfect, but our ecosystem is extremely strong. And it's really around honing our people strategy and what we want our culture to be. And then things that people that don't necessarily fit within that, either figuring out where they fit inside the tech organization in a different role or in the business, or do they necessarily need to be part of our company? So it's that constant evolution of making sure that you got the right people in place, the right leaders in place, and the right teams in place in order to be successful.
Yeah, for sure. And the final question is, are there any final thoughts, any nuggets of wisdom that you want to share that you didn't get to during the course of this interview? Kind of your chance to kind of plug everything that you've learned into a few nuggets.
Yeah, I would say for me, it is, for those individuals out there that want to break in technology or in tech today, the world is your oyster. Like it's all about what you make it. And even at a person at my level, it's kind of the top of the food chain for my company. I've got this continuous learning mindset where I'm trying to learn every day. I'm trying to enhance. I'm trying to be better the next day, better and better and better. And I don't demand this type of performance from my people, but they feel it and they see it and they just act upon it. They act. That's one thing. So if you're in tech, have a continuous learning mindset. The other thing is, sometimes people have a tendency to put caps on their abilities and like what they want to go do. My advice would be don't ever do that. Like, if you want to go do something, go get educated, go get the necessary credentials, go connect with people that are already doing successfully, go network and go make that happen. That opportunity is all about what that person or what I'm willing to put into it that gives me the out. And the other thing is the last thing I would say is that I've had a lot of people are going to look at this podcast and say, God, this guy's great. He's had a lot of successes and he's got his act together. Yeah, but I've had a lot of failures in my past. And what's defined me is really how I've learned from those
Yes.
failures. And what you don't see is a lot of emotional score marks that I've gotten from situations of dealing with technology going down and critical situations and things happening that I've learned from. And as a result of that, I'm so glad I've been through those situations with this company and prior companies, because it's made me a better leader. It's made me a better person, and it's made me a better Jermaine Oldham that I need to be. So learn from your failures, uh, and try not to repeat them, but use that as fuel to be a better version of you, not a better version in impersonation of someone else, a better version of you for the future.
Yeah. And to, going back to defining success too, it kind of goes hand in hand. The better you are able to learn from your mistakes and acknowledge your mistakes, the better that you can define success, which means the better that you can celebrate that success when it comes.
Absolutely.
Well, Jermaine, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. This was an absolutely wonderful conversation. So I just want to thank you for you, and I wish you all the best moving forward.
Yeah. Thank you for having me today. It's been great.
VCOM Solutions is here to help make your IT projects and day-to-day operations as easy and efficient as possible. If you'd like to see how VCOM can help your organization save time and money, request a demo at vcomsolutions.com/demo. Do you work in IT? Be a guest on Braindrop. Go to vcomsolutions.com/Braindrop guest to sign up. Thanks again for dropping in. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can find us on social media at VCOM Solutions. Until next time.